everybody, to the JJ and Pug Show. It is December 10th, 2024. We are recording from the Highland Community Podcast Studios. This is part 2 of today's show, and this upcoming is my friend Lindsey Stirling doing You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, featuring Sabrina Carpenter. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Do you know this person?
Oh, yeah. No, Lindsey's awesome. Huge friend. Like, she's one of the best people that I've ever known. Yeah. Her dad was my seminary teacher in high school. He is, without doubt, my favorite teacher of all time. Unfortunately, passed away a couple years ago from cancer. But Lindsey's just amazing. She's totally self-made. Like, I think we talked about her when you told me that Ava was learning the violin, right? Yeah. She's just obsessive about improvement. Like, she just is crazy. She was on America's Got Talent. Now she's the world. She, in fact, did the halftime show for the Packers Thanksgiving Day game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Broadcast nationally on NBC, right?
That's cool.
So, shout out to you, Lindsey. Not that you need it from me and, you know, our 60 listeners or whatever it is.
Or 7.
Hey,
just kidding.
We're not that bad.
No, we're good.
We're not that great either. But
doesn't matter. We don't do it full time.
And we also do it for fun. Yeah. All right? Yeah. At least we're going to tell ourselves that for a while. You know? But anyway, that being said, apparently this Sabrina Carpenter girl, who I did not know about, is like a big deal now.
I've heard the name. My kids know who she is. I probably have her music on my phone right now.
Yeah, maybe.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
But I didn't know anything about her until a friend of mine, his sisters, went to her concert that was apparently here, like all dressed up, and there was like, I don't know, thousands of girls that were dressed up, and her whole thing apparently is that she's very tiny, and so, I don't know. All I know is I know this song, I know it's Lindsey, I know she's singing on it, so.
She got a nice voice.
Yeah, she does. But anyway, so Merry Christmas, y'all. And I just laughed because in the last episode you were talking about how you're a Grinch. I had already queued this song up, bro. This was going in for the next show.
I am a Grinch, bro. My kids will tell you the same thing. I don't care. I take no shame in it. I'm like bah humbug every day, bro. I'm like, ugh. Can we put the Christmas tree up? No. I have a firm rule. You're waiting till after Thanksgiving. I don't care who you are.
It's usually our rule. However, if Shalay decides to change it, I'm not going to fight her on that.
Yeah. I'm a guy that grew up with Christmas lights on my house all year round, okay? Never happening.
See, and guess what? That's my house.
No.
Because guess what? I'm putting them up once. I am never taking them down. We talked about my fear of ladders. I did it one time. Dude, in fact, I had to get a scissor lift to get the high peak of my over here because there's no other way to do it. I don't have a ladder going up high enough. And I know if I got to the top of that ladder, I would be stuck.
Just walk on your concrete tiles.
No. Not voiding that warranty. All right. Dionte Johnson's a freaking idiot. Okay?
Yeah, sounds like it.
Okay, so this guy was a productive, albeit not amazing, wide receiver with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay? They drafted him, and he was okay. He was a little bit better than okay. He was pretty good. The Steelers decided, you're too much of a hassle. We don't want you on the team anymore. Good luck in free agency. Nobody signs him for a long time. Finally, the Carolina Panthers come in and say, hey, you know what? 1-year deal. What do you think? 1-year deal for you. Prove it. See if this works out. If it does, new contract. If not, you move on your way in the free agency. Guess what? It didn't work out. So much so that in the middle of the season, before the trade deadline, the Baltimore Ravens, said, let's go for you. We'll give this guy a flyer. He's on a 1-year deal. Shoot, we could use some wide receiver depth. We're a good team. Let's go for it. Since he's been traded there, he's had 1 catch for 6 yards in the game against the Eagles. Because he wasn't getting the attention he thought he deserved, or the targets he thought he deserved, guess what? You're not outperforming Zay Flowers, so you're not going to get it unless you prove to anybody that you're worth it.
Here, you want the ball, get open.
Get open and catch it when it's thrown to you, right? And not only that, but when the ball's not getting thrown to you, throw a block. Like, do your part as a part of the team. Doesn't always have to be all about you, okay? So against the Eagles, this was 2 weeks ago, with a game in which the Baltimore Ravens lost, he refused to go back in when told to go back in. So what do the Ravens do? Okay, you're out for the next game. You're sitting. You're suspended. That's conduct detrimental to the team. Let me tell you this right now, Dionte Johnson. You are getting paid an insane amount of money to play a game that 90% of adult men would kill to play. Yeah. If able. We would love it. So suck it up, Buttercup. You are not that special. You're not even an all-pro receiver. Like, you are a number 2 on every roster in the NFL at best. What makes you think you're too good for the Ravens, bro?
It's just sad. Like,
yes. That's a championship organization.
Entitled. It's so I'm not going to play because I don't get the ball enough.
Dude, it's the worst diva mentality of a wide receiver who has done nothing to prove he's worth being a diva.
Yeah, it's like, because somebody in his circle keeps telling him he's better than he is.
Yes.
That's why you get a real friend to tell you, hey, bro, you suck. Get back out there.
Well, no, that it's like, hey, listen, the Steelers know what it's like to deal with a diva wide receiver. They had Antonio Brown, right?
They did.
They know what it's like. Okay, but Antonio Brown produced.
Yeah, you take the good with the bad at that point.
Yes. And, okay, go back to the Cowboys and the Eagles and the 49ers. You had T.O. on the team. You dealt with T.O.
and his shenanigans.
As long as he's producing.
Yeah, and he did for every team he played for.
He did. He absolutely did. There's no way you could argue that.
I think he could still play.
He claims he can.
Yeah.
I think he's still playing indoor football.
I think
he's playing arena football.
Somebody should just give him a shot one game to see what happens.
I would love to see it happen.
So cool.
He's like 50 years old. I don't freaking. What was that video that you and I watched where he had a race against somebody? Who was he racing? Chad Ochocinco was video. He was part of it, right?
Is it Tyreek Hill?
Maybe it was somebody he was doing. He was doing a sprint with out somewhere in Miami, Florida.
I think it was Tyreek Hill because he gave him like a 10-yard head start too, like because of his age, just to give him a head start. I think
he's 50 years old.
He's 50 and he's still fast.
Still freaking crushing it. So and not only that, but still looks amazing.
I feel like 50. I read somewhere when he was in a BFS, a bigger, faster, stronger magazine when I was a kid in high school, and I feel like I read something that said that he like his regimen a day is like something like over 100 pills he takes a day just to keep vitamins and all kinds of stuff. Like his regimen is just insane. But you look at his body and you're like, dude, you're built like a freaking god.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
It's crazy.
And that's always been true of T.O. He has always been ripped.
Just jacked.
Just so in incredibly good shape. He's probably one of the first athletes I can remember that took taking care of their body to an extreme level of care.
A hyperbaric chamber.
Yeah, and now it's kind of like common. Like you hear about the things that Derrick Henry would do, or LeBron James does, or James Harrison back in the day did.
The guy, Russell Wilson, spent a lot of money on his health.
Yeah, and I mean, for good reason. Their body is their business.
Absolutely. You need to be at peak performance all the time. Like,
absolutely.
I would drop that kind of money. You're making $40 million a year. Well, you know what? What's $3 million to keep my body in?
Exactly. To make sure that you are staying at top producing level. Sure. Like, I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. But anyway, I just want to get out there. Dionte Johnson, you're a freaking idiot, okay? Suck it up, dude. You're not that great. And if you want to be that great, if you want to get a second deal with another team, stop doing what you're doing. Yeah, perform, dude. Do more than just try and catch a ball. Like, you are more than that. Wide receivers now are expected to block after a run or during a run. Like
the Sun Devils, bro, they pride themselves on what? Who's their coach? Who's their
Kenny Dillingham, coach? Baby.
No, who's their receiver coach?
The best blocking wide receiver of all time, Hines Ward.
And he straight up, I just heard on the thing that they said, like, hey, if you ain't blocking, you ain't getting the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and then they show a play of that Scooby-Doo or whatever his name is running, and he freaking goes, whatever, and he
he's got blockers downfield.
And then did you see he got snubbed for the invite to New York?
He absolutely should have. He deserved it, man.
That's all right. Did you see that video I sent you with him in high school?
Yes, his high school run.
Oh, buddy.
It was one of those things. How does he not go down?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, but he's built like a little fridge, dude. His center of gravity is like perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's got thick.
The perfect running back build.
So hopefully he stays healthy. And
unfortunately, he doesn't have the perfect running back speed, which is what's going to keep him out from being an amazing
Mike Allstott didn't have speed.
That's true.
And he was a freaking tank.
He's not Mike Allstott, though.
I know, but I mean, he's
Mike Allstott was what, 240, 250?
I don't know.
He was a thick dude.
He was so big.
Shoulder pads were up to his ears.
Pads were 7 times too big.
I know. Which is what really added to the
I wore a neck roll to look like that.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, back in our day, man, when you saw a guy with a neck roll, that was the coolest looking thing ever.
And it didn't help me because it was too far back where it would stop, but it looked better. And you jacked a bag. I'm like, that's right,
freaking awesome. You better believe every time I created a running back in Madden, neck roll.
And a visor.
Yeah, with a visor,
I always wanted a visor. I never got one.
I never had one either.
They were like, hey, you can actually, when you breathe out, you can feel it. It's hot in there. And I'm like, but I want a visor.
The coolest thing, the only additive I had to my uniform was Under Armour long sleeves. That's all I had.
I wore the I wore socks most of the time. We got leggings or like Under Armour leggings, so they're just all black, you know.
That's cool.
But I had I was a kicker my freshman year or my junior and senior year until we got a new kid. I was a toe puncher. So I would go out, I'd be in cleats, and then for PATs and stuff, they'd run me out my cleat. I'd put on this square toe shoe.
Oh, you had one of those ones?
Bro, so like I finally got to the point where I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I played in that shoe, and then I stopped playing. I wasn't a kicker anymore because a soccer player came over to play because he knew we were going to be good and we needed him.
Yeah.
And I played in that shoe my entire senior year, and I still have the shoe in a box at home.
That is hilarious,
It's
dude.
an old school.
That is so old school.
funny.
That's like 80s old school,
I
man.
wore a regular cleat on my left foot, and my right foot was the square toe shoe, bro.
That's actually really awesome.
It's pretty cool.
So this is something that it's just I wanted to just quickly run over this. I don't want to go in depth, but James Conner with the Cardinals got a contract extension. He is, I'm not sure if he's 29 or 30 years old right now, but I know this extension takes him past that 30 mark, right? Yeah. 31, 32. It was 2 years, $19 million, right? In today's NFL terms, that's not breaking the bank. It's actually a pretty good deal for a frontline number one overall running back, right? A guy that's going to be taking the bulk of the carries. And this year, I think, has probably been the best year for establishing or reestablishing running back values. When you think of what Saquon Barkley has done.
Oh, yeah. He came back out of nowhere.
Oh, my gosh, man. He's the MVP.
The Eagles.
I know you're saying that. As a guy who does not care about anybody in the NFC East, it's actually been super fun to watch him run. Like,
I know. No, I'm not discrediting that, but it's just why would you, as a Giant, why would you ever deal him to the Eagles? You're going to play him now.
That's the problem is the Giants just let him walk.
Yep.
They just let him, and that's what we talked about last time. NFC East teams, stop giving the Eagles your players. They do better with them. It feels like everybody that gets forgotten or let go by their previous team, they go to the Eagles, and suddenly it's like, oh, this guy's actually really, really good.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Mekhi Becton, he was the drafted left tackle for the Jets. The Jets let him walk. He's now like almost an all-pro right guard, not tackle, guard for the Eagles. They already have an amazing offensive line. Like, stop letting these guys walk because they go to the Eagles and they become great. It's not that Saquon Barkley wasn't great before.
Yeah.
But now when he's running behind a legitimate team that's got weapons outside of just him, like, he's showing that, dude, the guy is the freak that we thought he was when he got drafted. Like, he's amazing.
No, he absolutely is. He's killing it. You can't be mad about it.
And then so again, Derrick Henry,
killing it.
Like, when he's going to a team where he's not the one lone feature on offense, which even when he was unstoppable. Yeah. Now it's like, dude, this guy's he's a freak. And it was a 1 year, $7 million deal.
Yeah, I know.
For the rape. 1 year, $7 million for.
He could have a star on his helmet, but Jerry Jones is a jackwagon.
He's a freaking idiot. Because, I mean, if you want to say you're all in and you're going to let that guy walk to another team, you're not all in, which is the definition of it to me. So I just thought that James Conner, who is a very good running back, is anybody going to like mistake him for the best running back in the league? No. But for him to get a 2 year, $9.5 million deal, annually, that's really, really resurrecting the value of running back in the NFL. I think this has been a great year for running backs.
No, it's been good. I can't argue with you.
So, and then we'll get to this one later going down. So we talk about flopping in basketball a lot.
Soccer, it's infamous.
It's terrible in soccer.
In men's soccer, I'll say.
Yes, men's soccer
is a whole different sport.
It's crazy. I've never seen flopping in women's soccer. Not that it doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen at all
Not
to the
like
level
that.
which doesn't. No.
No.
Men's are terrible. How much flopping do you see in the NFL now?
Well, I
see tons
what
of it.
What do you mean for what? In what sense?
To sell a late hit, to sell roughing the passer, or to sell a unsportsmanlike conduct thing. Like, it happens all the time now in the NFL. If the play is over and the scrum happens and guys are lifting people off the pile, one guy will go in, and as he's getting kind of like lifted off, if another team is there and the guy will always kind of like put his arm like, hey, get out of the way. The guy on the one, let's say this. It's last night we were watching the Cowboys and the Bengals. Okay, it happened in the game. This almost exact situation happened in the game where there's a scrum, plays over, blown, whistle dead. Two guys are walking up to the pile to get their guy up, and the Bengals guy, defense, it's on offense. He's an offensive lineman, probably going to go pick up a running back or the other offensive lineman. Comes up, and he kind of puts his hand out to the Cowboys guy. The Cowboys guy puts his arm on him, like kind of like gives him like kind of more of a shove. Not anything egregious, right? Not anything egregious whatsoever, but definitely like more aggressive.
Like, don't touch me, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then the Bengals guy comes right back at him like, hey, dude, like almost like, don't you do that to me. I'm not going to let you just push me like it's. And the Cowboys guy, arms up in the air, flops backwards, right? Totally tries to sell it. All while the referee is right there. Totally saw what happened to begin with and knows that it's not the Bengals guy. It's you, bro.
Yeah.
Throws a flag, unsportsmanlike penalty, 15 yards for the Bengals, okay? Happens all the time. I just saw an entire reel dedicated to Josh Allen flops for the exact same thing. Trying to sell roughing the passer, trying to sell late hits. And I'm just kind of like to the point where I'm like, is it just going to like be in every sport now? When's flopping going to hit baseball? And how would a baseball player flop? Because it's everywhere now.
It's in every sport, I guess, when there's some kind of contact made.
I guess.
Stupid.
You have to keep a lookout for it. Next time you watch it,
to pay attention.
Watch, dude. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's getting to the point where it's almost an epidemic in football.
That's stupid.
So that one's out of the way. That one, I observed that last week. We didn't get time to talk about it. But then I saw it happen this past week, and I was like, oh, I got to talk about that one. Okay.
Which brings us into flopping in soccer, and
let's hear this story, dude.
So Lexi's gonna be pissed, but I don't care because I think it's awesome. Because there's a few reasons I think it's awesome, but I think it's also a learning thing for her, right? So, I raised my kids to not start fights. But I'll tell you right now, they better end them, right? I firmly believe in defending yourself. I think we've gotten away from that as a culture where everybody wants to play this like, oh, I can't react to somebody's reaction. No, you don't need to be disrespected by anybody. And it's just the way I've raised my kids. Like, look, you don't start fights, you don't bully people, whatever, but you don't get pushed around either. You know what I mean? Like you need to stand up for yourself. So
firmly agree.
Girls soccer is much more intense.
It's aggressive.
I was talking about it last night on the sidelines with my wife. She said that men, the difference is men, they're a bunch of crybabies. They really are in soccer. They're just a joke. But the thing is, they're so much faster and more athletic than the girls are at that age that they don't really need to be aggressive so much because they can just run by kids or they're just athletic. So they flop a lot more and cause more attention. They're just more drama. Well, so there was a throw in and Lexi's getting this girl and apparently she's got her like she's kind of like punching her in the back while Lexi's kind of like shielding her away and like kneeing her or something, and the ball gets thrown in. Well, Lexi turns and she says like, get off of me or don't touch me, and the chick slaps Lexi in the face.
No way.
And Lexi kind of tries to move out of the way, but it gets her. And then she tries to come back with it, and Lexi grabs her hand, I guess, and just starts punching her.
Oh! Yes!
So I'm like, it's on the other side, so we can't see it, but the last thing, you see a commotion, you see the ref waving his flag, the side judge, and then they run over, and I see Lexi throw her last hit, like her last punch, and then she just walks away, right?
Dude, Lexi...
It's an instant red card. See, and she was emotional. It's a big, it is emotional for the girls, and her first actual probably like real physical altercation like that, and especially in a sport. But I'm like, as soon as I heard her walk off, she says, you could hear her from the stands, I'm not going to let her slap me in the face. And at that point, I'm like, I ain't even mad. I want to know what happened.
Okay, make sure this thing follows me.
Salute to Lexi.
Salute to you. I could not agree with you more in a way that you need to raise your kids. Okay? We don't start fights. No. We don't start wars. No.
And so the lesson here to learn, right? I'm not advocating for violence, even though I wish we could choose violence more because the world would be a better place in a lot of sense. But the lesson learned is she got suspended 2 games, right? 2 games. She got suspended last night. It's 2 now. The AI is really, and here's the part that is some gray is apparently, and I may be wrong, and anybody that wants to listen to this and fact check it, go for it. But my understanding is Lexi, even though Lexi, if she didn't even throw back, she would have still been suspended with a red card because just because the ref didn't see the antagonistic thing doesn't mean you're not both going to be punished for it. It's kind of just alleviate, like, don't do it. You're both going to get screwed, right? Yeah. So I'm like, well, good. At least you got your shots in because I don't want her to ever feel like she has to take that crap, Oh,
yeah.
So the athletic director calls me yesterday and is like, hey, you have you on speakerphone. And I'm just letting you know that Alexi, she's been suspended for 2 games. I'm like, okay. And he starts talking and he goes, well, and I said, I had questions like, what would you have done this, that? And I said, here's the deal. I'm not mad at her. Like, I'm actually glad she defended herself because she can take the 2-game suspension. I don't care.
So just 2 games, meaning the full game that she was in and
plus
the next
2
game?
more.
2 more.
So she got moved out of the second half of that game, and then she got removed from yesterday's game, and she's not playing tomorrow's game.
Now that is severe.
So it is a little extreme, and she's got to take a video, and this is where I was like, she has to take a class, and you got to take it online, and before she can come back about conduct. And I was like, who's paying for that? And he's like, no, it's free. And I was like, you damn right it better be free, because I ain't going to pay for her defending. Like, no, you're going to pay for it. I don't have the problem with it. Like, I think it'd be crap for me to the AIA is trying to keep kids safe, and I totally understand and I appreciate it. But at some point, like, I told them straight up, I'm not mad at her. Like, I don't care. I'm glad she did it. Like, now the lesson here is, this is where my wife and I are very much different end of the spectrum, right? I'm a confrontation, like, let's go, she's not. And she's like, well, it could have been handled better. And I'm like, well, hold on. I don't think it could have been handled better. Could it have been handled differently? Sure, right? She could have just walked away, but she still would have been suspended. She could have, and she's like, what if it was a playoff game and now she can't play in the next game or the championship game? And I'm like, I know, and I get that, but this is JV. And I said, and on top of that, a state game, I get it. It would be terrible. But the life lesson she learned from defending herself is much greater. Like, it's just much greater at that. This is a game at the end of the day. But I don't know. That's not the case because she was playing JV, so it doesn't matter. But little extreme, but I gotta say, as much as the dad, I mean, like, just like that, I'm like, I'm so happy. And she's one I would not mess with, Allie's got a level head. Like, she's very much like, Allie will fight you, but it's gonna be a last resort thing, because Allie's just smart. She's like, no, I know better. Like, or I'm not gonna go that route. Lexi, nah, don't trip, bro. She's she got, so the best way to put it is, my brother is a fighter right now. He will fight anybody. He does not care. Jenna's brother is a fighter. He's gotten better as he's gotten a little older now. He's in his 40s. But in high school, him and my brother were exactly the same. Like, you look at him wrong, we're going to fight you. Well, Lexi's a mixture of both of them. Like, and it's like, she don't put up with any crap, dude. She will tell anybody no, or tell anybody what she thinks. And I'm like, you can't. Sometimes you just have to bite your tongue, kid. Well, they're wrong. I know they're wrong, but it doesn't mean they're wrong. Like, it sucks. It's a tough lesson to learn. But anyway, so that was Lexi. She, I know she's going to be mad because I talked about it, but I don't care, because I'm proud of her in that sense. Like, I don't think violence is the answer in a sport. And unfortunately,
but here's where I'm going to push back a little bit.
And that's fine.
Because I do agree with you that violence isn't always the answer. But when it comes to sports, especially because whether soccer is not American football, right?
No.
It's not that kind of contact sport. It's a contact sport. It's the same thing with basketball. It may be not, you're not wearing pads, you're like playing rugby or something like that, but you are constantly banging up against each other. You're bumping into people. You're running. And in soccer, there's a lot of jersey grabbing and there's a lot of positioning and stuff like that. Listen, if someone is going to try and take liberties with you when you're already constantly, boxing out, playing a position, and trying to get in a position, and if someone's going to try and take liberties with you, let that person know you tried again. This is what's going to happen to you.
Well, and I'm sure.
Like, I just firmly believe, like, it's again what the same. It's easier for me to say that because I played football,
right? And that's the part. The soccer, you can't, like, in football, you got cheap shot or something stupid happened. You're like, all right,
I'm taking you on the next play.
I'm just waiting.
Yeah, you just
I will wait. You're gonna be lost in La La Land, and I'm gonna ear hole you like a mofo.
We're gonna pull left. We're gonna do power left. We're gonna pull the left guard, and you're done.
Yeah, I'm coming. He's just gonna come across the line thinking he's got a tackle, and I'm gonna smash him.
I totally agree.
So it's a little different because football, like soccer, you'd have to almost like time it right, and even then, you may risk getting a red card or not. But I'm like, listen, you got smacked in the face, and she tried. Like, I don't blame you. You do what you had to do. Like, could we have maybe been different? Sure, but I'm not mad because you acted and you defended yourself, and that to me is huge.
So maybe the better way of doing it is to alert the referee, like, hey, just so you know, this is what's happening. Like, we're getting in position, and she just took a swipe at me. If it happens again, I will not hold back. Like, maybe that's the correct position to take. I don't know. I can tell you this right now. I meant it when I stood up and saluted you, Alexi, because to me, if someone is going to take advantage of you, it is up to you to try and to diffuse. But in that position, in that situation, I would have done the exact same thing. And I am not a fighter.
Yeah.
I am not a person that throws hands. I don't do it. But I will tell you this, there's been a couple times in my life where my buttons were pushed to a level at which I said, there's nothing else for me to do. I've tried. I'm done.
Especially when you get hit in the face. Like, it isn't like she pushed her in the arm or something like that. Like, dude, I hate being hit in the face. Like, you want to piss me off, dude? Hit me in the face. Like, let's do this. And my kids know it as like a joke.
Most
right?
people,
right. But it's like that. Like, don't like. I don't like to be place slapped in the face. Like, don't hit my face. Like,
yeah.
So if you're gonna in a game like that, if you're gonna try, you just like she took a full on slap at her and slapped her in the face, and then tried to come back with it, and let's the way for her to grab it and just start punching her. I'm like, oh, well,
dude, just
you're gonna learn today.
To me, that's like the most hardcore thing when somebody came to slap at you and you got the hand mid slap,
and she just starts. Yeah, she just starts.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. That's awesome. Okay.
Violence is not the answer, but sometimes it is.
But sometimes
the keyboard warrior needs to get punched in the face, dude.
I say sometimes a lesson needs to be taught.
Hey,
and
I'll
sometimes
guarantee you that chick probably will think twice about throwing slaps at somebody because she's probably never had somebody fight back.
Oh yeah, and that's
today's culture that doesn't happen.
That's another thing about it is that person that threw the first slap probably thought they're going to get away with it.
Yep.
They're not going to think about it. They're going to have to think about it from now on. It's like, do I do this ever again? And do I do this ever again when I'm playing Queen Creek?
Yeah. Probably not.
Probably not going to do this if I'm playing Queen Creek ever again. So again, I'm proud of her.
Yeah.
Dude, I would love to see the video. Is it on video?
No. So that's the thing. Like, because I asked about video, because if you have video, let's say she didn't throw anything, and there's video, and you can dispute a suspension if you have video proof that you didn't do nothing, right? But I don't think anybody saw it. It was literally on the other side of the field, right next to the other team's bench. Like it was, I mean, it was on the other side of like the 45-yard line. Like there's nothing you could see. Mm-hmm. All I see is Lexi kind of coming back, and I saw the last throw, and I was like, oh, Lexi gonna get kicked out.
That's awesome.
I'm like, oh,
I really am. Like I am so proud of her. She ain't my daughter, but man,
she's funny because she's embarrassed, but she's not. Like I think she's happy with what she did because she did what she was raised to do.
Yeah.
But it's also like that, like there's emotion. Like she was kind of crying about it, but it's not crying out of sadness. It's just emotion.
Yeah, just emotion. And not only that, but like the situation of, I am not the one that started this. I ended it. I didn't start this. Yeah. And I'm being punished for something that they did. Yep. Now, did I act accordingly? Yes, I did. Did I react accordingly? Yes, I did. I mean, but that's like, it's always the rule in football. The first person never gets caught. It's always the person that retaliates.
Always the second person.
In the example I gave earlier about the flopping, that never happens.
Yeah.
Right? The first guy never gets caught. It just so happened the referee was literally right there as it happened.
Standing right there.
Right. So, and that never goes that way. It's always the person that retaliates. At the same time, like I feel like sometimes the retaliation is absolutely warranted. And
so I'm not mad. She's only missing 2 games, Monday and Wednesday. She'll be able to play on Saturday. Like it's like, look, and she's learning a lesson that it sucks to sit, right? It's like she didn't want to go practice tonight. And she's like, well, I can't play. And I'm like, that's not, but I mean, she's got homework and like, I have finals next week. And I said, I get it. But if you didn't get kicked out of the game, you'd be playing, you'd be going to practice. I think practice is something you need to go to.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one too. But also, I think one of the reasons why I'm super proud of it is because that's exactly the same thing I teach my kids. And I tell them all the time, like, listen, we don't start fights. You're not a fight. We do not do that. We stick up for people. Yep. If somebody comes at you, do not get pushed around.
Nope.
You cannot let people push you around.
No.
And I'm not saying you got to be a fighter, with that look in your eye all the time, like you're ready to go. But at the same time, like if someone's coming to push you around, you can't be a speed bump on somebody else's road. Like you got to be the one that stops them.
You need to be capable of violence.
Yeah.
Right? Just capable of handling business. It's like I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's true. Like, I can turn it off. We teach this stuff all the time for people where I work. Right? It's, hey, look, it's like you can be a warrior in a garden and keep peace everywhere, but you need to have the ability to be a warrior.
Yeah.
And in today's society, you look around, it ain't nothing but gardeners, bro. Like it's terrible. And Dana White does a video of, he talks about being a savage and not in the term of like slander word. It's more of a just ruthless, like in today's society, if you raise your kids to be ruthless and just go get what they want and take no crap, they are going to take over anything they're in because the world we live in is a bunch of sheep. Mm-hmm. They're not used to it. So they come off as somebody that they don't like because they're headstrong. I'm trying to use words that aren't swear words. They come off super powerful, like, being, women, especially like my kids, because I have all girls. So if you come in as a powerful woman, instantly you're thought of as the B word, right?
Yep.
Oh, she just got an attitude because she's this. No, it's because she's successful and that's your only defense mechanism to call her that, because if it was a guy, you wouldn't be calling her that. So when these girls come in and they're powerful, like you just teach your kids and boys or girls to be savage is the only word he uses. I don't know another word, but just ruthless. Hey, you're going to teach your kids to take over the world. Like they're going to be the ones running things. So you got to ask yourself, do you want your kids to be sheep or do you want your kids to be, ruthless?
Yeah.
So it's up to you, but I'm a guy that I want my kids, whether they're girls or boys, to be ruthless. I want them to not. Nobody's going to take any. My kids are not going to take crap from nobody.
This is going to sound like it's out of left field. I promise you, it's not. If you could pick your last name and you were a defensive player, what better last name than Savage?
Yeah.
There's a safety who plays in the NFL. His name's Darnell Savage, and I've always thought that is the coolest freaking last name for a safety.
For that.
Unfortunately, he's not amazing. He's okay, but he's a starter. I mean, but I remember when he got drafted to the Packers. He's from Maryland, University of Maryland. I'm like, dude, that guy had better be the hardest hitting guy that's ever existed because that name dictates you must be a savage. You
have to, right?
Oh, so cool. Anyway, now I'm going to talk about one very, very, very sad thing. I think the Cardinals are done.
Yeah, they had a pretty bad showing. They just couldn't get moving. I don't know. It was just not a good game.
On Sunday.
Started out okay.
Yeah, on Sunday, they rode right down the field into the very first possession, scored a touchdown. Okay? Feeling good. Seahawks come down the next possession, they get a field goal. And on my mind, I'm like, okay, you know what? We've already scored a touchdown. We've got 7 points. That's better than we did the entire last game we played the Seahawks, which is 2 games before. Interception. I'm like, okay, that sucks. And then the next play, touchdown, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Another freaking hyphenated last name. I'm done with it. Pick one. So, okay, now we're down. It's, what is that now? 10-7. Okay, we can do this. We got an offense that's capable. 10-7, we can do this. Very next possession, interception. Bro, I told Schley, shut the TV off. Can't watch this. This is going to wreck my day. I don't want to see this. Okay? Just like that, down 17-7. And I didn't watch the rest of the game that day. I was like, I can't watch this. It's going to kill me. I can't do this.
It didn't get any better.
It did not get any better. I mean, I would say it got better in the sense that they didn't just only score 7.
Right. They scored more points.
They scored more points.
Allowed more points.
But they allowed more points. And to the defense's credit, honestly, from the very beginning of the season, I never thought the Cardinals defense was going to be any good.
Yeah.
The fact that they are above league average is honestly shocking to me. It is shocking to me. The secondary, which is made up of mostly first year and second year guys.
Outside of Buda Baker.
Well, and Jalen Thompson. But all the corners, they're, and Sean Murphy Bunting, stupid hyphenation. Pick one. He's been, he's been a terrible signing in my opinion, but whatever. The first and second year cornerbacks have been good. It's been crazy. The defensive line has been constantly in a rotation because guys are getting hurt. The 2 guys that they picked up in free agency, spent all the big money on, gone on IR, not playing for the rest of the season. Okay. Linebackers. I mean, nobody knows who the linebackers of the Cardinals are. Kaiser White and Marlon, not Marlon Mack. That's a running back. Mack. Why can't he play for the Browns last year? God dang, number 2. Help me out here. You got nothing for me.
I want to say it starts with a J.
No.
I'll look. Go ahead and keep talking. I'll look.
Anyway, he's number 2 middle linebacker for the Cardinals. He has been a great signing. I've actually been super impressed with him. And so anyway, the defense is something that I never expected much from, but I am really impressed with what they've done. Yesterday was a terrible showing in the run defense. Zach Charbonnet for the Seahawks, who was the backup to the running back, Kenneth Walker, who did not play, had the best game, I swear, of his career. Ripped off a 40-plus yard run for a touchdown, again, against the defense, who couldn't stop the run at all game. What's the name, by the way?
I'm looking still. Go ahead.
Okay. And it was just, okay, so a couple things that I had. The red zone offense for the Cardinals, which got off to a 16-for-16 start, 16 times in which they were goal to go, 16 touchdowns. Since then, awful. They've been terrible in the red zone. It is the primary reason why the Cardinals are on a 3-game losing streak. The red zone offense has sucked. And I don't know why. It just completely stopped working. Because you wonder how a team can get there so frequently and then just stop doing whatever it is they started doing. Secondly, we talked about the rush defense. On Sunday, absolutely failed him.
Mac Wilson
Sr. God, freaking dang it. Mac Wilson Sr. Anyway, he's been good. The rush defense was terrible. The best playmaker on the Cardinals offense is Trey McBride. Okay.
I would agree.
He's had a great season.
And I like the way he plays.
Oh, I love it. He's one of those guys where you wonder why guys like Marvin Harrison Jr., how do you not play like Trey McBride? You have all the talent in the world. How do you not have that fire like Trey McBride has? Dude, when the guy gets the ball, he is going to get yardage.
He averages over 10 yards a game.
That's amazing. A catch. Yeah, and it's because most all of his catches are after the yardage is after the run. And he's a tight end. The guy plays with fire, and he wants to score. He wants to get the first down. I love it. Okay, he came off of back-to-back games with 12 receptions. In this game yesterday, he didn't get his first reception until the third quarter was almost over. That is horrible offensive play calling. How do you not just say, all right, you know what? This one's going to Trey. Okay, let's get a spark. This one's going to Trey. To the credit, they actually did stick with the run game yesterday, which I was happy because they completely abandoned it the first time around. But this time around, they gave it a chance. They stuck with it for a while. But in fact, rushing average for the whole team was well over 5 yards a carry. Didn't matter. We still only scored 18 points because the red zone offense was terrible. Okay? Awful. My next point that I wanted to make. Why won't you run more Kyler Murray? Your best trait. Dude, his best trait as a quarterback is his speed. That's his best trait. Not to say that he sucks at everything else.
Yeah, but all it takes is one play and you got him. He goes down like what's his name did, dude? And that's it.
Exactly. Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. I think that's why you're just trying to. He's your franchise quarterback. I think you're just trying to save him now. They can do some stuff,
but I don't think it's the coaching staff that's trying to stop it. I think it is in his head that he has to do everything from the pocket and for anybody to give him respect. You know what gets respect? Winning. Yeah. Winning gets respect. And the Cardinals, and I don't have the stat right in front of me, but it's something that's reported all the time. The Cardinals' win-loss record when Kyler has more than 4 carries is it is crazy. Just 4 carries makes the biggest difference in the world for the Cardinals winning versus losing. And guess how many runs he had yesterday? 3. They lost. The threat of Kyler Murray running changes your entire defensive play calling, right? You have to constantly, now we got to keep a linebacker in as a spy. We can't have that guy in coverage because we have to make sure Kyler doesn't run. And I just think it's I don't know everything that's going on in that offense, but I do know this. Kyler Murray, your greatest trait as the quarterback is being, if not the fastest, one of the fastest guys under center in the entire league. Use that threat more. Now, I'm not saying 10 times a game, but it's got to be something the defense has to consider on third down. Because there's nothing more deflating on the defense than when you've got them on 3rd and 10 and the quarterback scrambles for 10, 11 yards. First down. It's you did it, your job for 2 downs, and then he just got that first down. I remember
the 11th man got you.
Oh, dude. Because I remember when Russell Wilson was with the Seahawks. Russell wasn't the fastest guy, but he was a pretty quick guy, right? And I felt like every single time it was 3rd and long, Russell Wilson was going to scramble for a first. And it just was so deflating. The next thing I had here, Chad Ryland, I'm about ready to say goodbye to you, bro. This is the second game in a row in which you've doinked the field goal, okay? If he would have made this field goal, we had 18. It was 18-27. He hits that field goal. Now it's 21-27. Game is totally within reach.
Yeah.
He misses a 40-yarder off the uprights.
Ding.
And what does that do? Not just for the team, but the entire stadium.
Everybody starts leaving.
Yeah, because now game's out of reach, bro. We can't get this game now.
Nothing you can do.
There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, yeah, do miracles happen? Sure. Usually in a Disney movie, not typically in real life. So, Chad Ryland, you've stepped in good. You had 3, I think it's 3 game winners, right? Awesome. But the last 2 games in which we needed you, specifically last week when we lost by 1 point and you missed a field goal, those numbers come back to haunt, okay? And all of that is to say, the NFC West is still within reach. Everybody's within 2 games. The Rams absolutely blew out the Bills yesterday. Who saw that coming? Hey, Caleb Williams, remember when you told that punter that he wasn't going to punt much? Did you see that stat yesterday?
Yeah, he's punted more than he ever has.
Not only that, in the first half of the 49ers Chicago Bears game, the entire Chicago Bears offense had 4 yards. Jason, 4 yards and a half of football for an entire offense.
For the number one pick.
You know how many punts they had?
7.
5. More punts than yards
One
and a
of these
half.
days, my answer 7's going to be right. In some sense.
It's going to happen.
Anytime somebody asks me something, I'm like 7.
That's a good lucky number, bro.
Yeah, 7.
The point is, what I'm going to say is the NFC West is still not decided. It's still completely within reach, and the Cardinals are on a 3-game losing streak when they had the number one spot in the division in their hands. They were holding on to it. And now, loss Seahawks, loss Vikings, loss Seahawks. And now we're right back down in the scrum.
And it's a terrible, terrible show.
Yeah, it is. And I got those 4 things, or whatever, how many things, I don't know what it was. I wrote it down. Like, I'm tired of Kyler Murray. This is the second game where the third game where interceptions just were crucial. And the whole first half of the season, he was doing a great job taking care of the ball. I feel like the bye week was a massive detriment to this team because since the bye week, they've been terrible.
Dude. Like, it's like they go into like a heater and the bye week hits and it's like, wah, wah, wah.
Well, that's definitely what's happened to my team this time around because we went into the bye week on a 4-game winning streak, came out, we're now on a 3-game losing streak. And Kyler has not looked good. The defense is played admirably. I mean, I don't put Sunday's loss on them, even though the rush defense was terrible.
Bro, you lost to Kara by 5 points.
Dude, let me tell you about that one.
Let me just tell you right now, we're trying to kick her butt, dude. She's 12-2.
Okay, dude, I
hope she loses the first round of the playoffs. Kara sucked it.
I went into Monday night's game with an 80-point lead. Jason, 80 points. She had one player. That one player not only devastated me, he devastated the Cowboys.
Jamar
freaking Chase.
I had Burrow, so it helped me in this. So that helped me in this. That's why I won because of it. But
dude,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, man, Jamar Chase. It's one of those things. This is who I thought Marvin Harrison Jr. would be, where it's like feels like he's just open all the time.
I think
Jamar Chase is open all the time.
Yeah, but I think he will be. I don't think Jamar Chase was like that his first year. And he was good though. He was really good.
He was really good.
You know what the difference is? Let's just talk about the difference.
Okay.
And for me, your quarterback.
No, that makes a big difference.
Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Kyler Murray in the sense of throwing the ball.
I know. I totally agree with you.
Foot race, it's not even close.
Listen, to me, Joe Burrow's probably top 5 quarterback, maybe top 3 quarterback in the entire NFL. He is amazing. But
he really is.
The difference I would also say is Jamar Chase gets open. And he fights for the ball.
Right.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is like the most passive guy on the field. It's insane to me.
You know what it is? It's Jamar Chase has had to work for it his whole life. Marvin Harrison probably didn't. His name got him a lot of stuff. Not to his credit, he's good.
Yeah, and physically, he is more talented than most everybody's ever gone against.
Right. So he doesn't have to try. It's the old Caleb Williams thing. You don't have to try when you're the best player on the field everywhere you go.
And same thing with Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray hit some serious adversity early in his NFL career. The dude had never even lost until he got to college. Never lost a game in high school. And he started all 4 years. Never lost a game. Got to college. I mean, dude, he lost to Alabama in the college playoffs. That was like the first loss they had that year with Oklahoma. Maybe he's the second. I don't remember. Yeah. The point is, he didn't do much losing. Got to the NFL. He's lost a lot since. He's had 1 winning season.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And, well, unfortunately for him, he went to the Cardinals. We don't win a lot here. Sad truth. But, dude, I just expected Marvin Harrison Jr. to really be that guy that opened up the offense because he would be a legitimate number 1 target. And he is he gets number 1 targets because, he is that guy, or stature wise anyway, but he is not producing like a number 1 at all. And I'm sorry for you, Caden, who drafted him in the first round of our fantasy draft because he is not, or I think it was the first round. I don't know what it was.
I don't know. It was a dumb call.
Definitely hasn't paid off. Definitely hasn't paid off. With that being said, dude, how you feeling about your Cowboys, bro?
I stopped watching.
That's how you feel about the Cowboys.
I really do. Like, it's terrible. Like, you don't have anybody worth watching anymore. I mean,
you're right about
lose
that.
every game. Just lose every game and get a better pick.
Yeah.
Stop making Mike McCarthy look good and get rid of him.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush. Like, it's funny, as I saw a thing today that said if Dak Prescott would have played for the Niners under Kyle Shanahan, they'd have 3 Super Bowls by now. And I'm like, you know what? You're probably right.
Yeah, probably not wrong.
He's probably not wrong because especially if you had the amount of talent that Dak has around him the past couple years.
Yeah. Offensive talent for sure.
Offensive talent. Yeah. Like Kyle Shanahan would have made something happen.
I will say this though. and this is a dig on Kyle Shanahan, even though I would freaking love him as my coach, he'd probably run the ball on 3rd and 10. Or excuse me, he'd probably pass the ball on 3rd and 10 in the Super Bowl with a 7-point lead and the clock's running, just to get an incomplete pass to give the ball back to the other team, so they would run down and score.
That's awfully specific.
Because, and I'm saying that, Kyle Shanahan is terrible at in-game situations when it matters. The dude does not know how to run out the clock, which is crazy, because guess what he's great at? Scheming up a running play. Yeah. Like, dude, his run offense is amazing. But yet somehow when it matters most, he just said, you know what we're going to go for? We're going to go for a deep shot right here. Even when all we need to do is keep the clock running. Ask Tom Brady how great Kyle Shanahan is about keeping the clock running when he's up 28-3 in the Super Bowl.
Can't bring that up. It's too soon.
Yeah. What is it, like a decade later? How long it's been?
It'll always be too soon.
Yeah. Especially for the
Matt
Atlanta
Ryan
fans.
should have slit his wrist at that point.
Oh, gosh, man. I can't even imagine that. The thing is also, Matt Ryan, at some point, you're going to be like, no, you know what? We're running a dive. Dive left, dive right.
Dude, play. What are you doing, bro?
Yeah, just,
come on.
You're up 25 points in the Super Bowl, dude.
Yeah. Just slow play that game, bro. Yes. Slow it everything way down.
Take that 45 or 40-second play clock down to 1 every time.
Yep.
And, I don't know. It's absolutely crazy. This isn't a real serious question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is Cooper Rush better, equal to, or less than Dak Prescott? Because
I think he's obviously worse than, but at the same time, he's winning games, and he's not a bad backup quarterback.
No. In fact, the Cowboys have been in or won every game he started since Dak went down.
Yeah, so he's not bad. I mean, he's a solid backup quarterback. He's not a Ryan Fitzpatrick, but he's a good, solid backup quarterback.
You know who is Ryan Fitzpatrick? Who's modern day Fitzy is? Jameis Winston.
Oh, yeah. He's so dumb. He put up some major numbers.
He puts up huge numbers, and he makes you think you're going to win until he throws a pick six.
You don't.
Did you see my favorite? This guy's full of great quotes, by the way. Jameis Winston is absolutely hilarious.
He's so dumb.
Did you see the one he had at the end of was the Broncos game where he threw 2 pick sixes? So I'm just praying to the Lord to deliver me from the pick sixes. It's like, the Lord ain't doing this to you, Jameis. But guess what? The very next week, he threw interceptions. No pick sixes, though. It's just like, oh, man. But I think it's probably the greatest modern day comp to what Ryan Fitzpatrick was. He was a guy that if you got him on your team, you're like, okay, hopefully the starter doesn't go down. If he does, we're in for a heck of a ride because he's going to have a game where
we don't know what we're going to get.
We don't know what we're going to get. We might get a 497-yard passing game with 3 touchdowns against the Broncos. He might throw 2 pick sixes on the way.
And lose that game.
And lose the game. Like, oh, man, Jameis, you're freaking awesome. And Fitzy was great when he was there. All right, man. Well, we don't got much more to talk about unless you want to continue to complain about the Cowboys.
No, they suck.
I got all my Cardinal stuff off my chest. I really am sad. I thought this was the season where we go from worst to first, and I think the playoffs are out of the picture now.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a crappy division, so we'll see.
When you say crappy, I mean...
No, I meant like everybody...
It's a tight division.
It's a tight division. It's a crappy place to be in, but anything can happen.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we do have the easiest quote-unquote schedule coming up, but Bryce Young's playing the best football of his entire freaking career now. Yeah. And he's not an easy out. And I don't think the Patriots are an easy out because Drake May is legit. And we got to play the Rams and the 49ers again, so...
Well...
Say fresh cheese bags.
Yeah, like fat kids in dodgeball. The Cardinals
are out. I knew you were going that way. I knew you were going to do that. The JJ and Pug Show theme song was written, composed, and performed by Lane Hartman. Special thanks to Highland Communities for all the support given to our show. You can find the JJ and Pug Show podcast wherever you do listen to podcasts. Look us up on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Remember to share the show with your friends and family and subscribe wherever you do listen. If you're able to, please feel free to support us by sending a donation to us by going to ko-fi.com/the JJ and Pug Show. That is ko-fi.com/the
bit.ly/the JJ and Pug Show. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for all the support, whether that is by simply listening, whether that is sharing it with a friend, or giving us that sweet, sweet cash. We truly appreciate it all. Thank you so much.